Hi children, good morning one and all. So in today's class I am going to continue the question answers that I have started in the previous class, okay. Already we have completed 5 questions and now we are in the 6th question. So the question being, how do you prove whether the leaves other than green, so the green color of the plant can also prepare their own food, that is whether they can participate or perform photosynthesis or not. So this is the question over there. 6th question for you in your textbook, that is how can you prove whether the leaves other than green also perform photosynthesis or not. That is, for this take the page number 40 of your textbook and see the activity 2 that is given over there and read them and try to write in your notes, children. So what is the aim? What is the aim over there? To prove that the leaves of the plant, the leaves other than green of a plant can also perform photosynthesis. To prove whether the leaves other than green, to prove whether the leaves other than green also perform photosynthesis or not. Is it clear? So for this, what are the materials that are required or the apparatus? So what do you need? They are called as materials required. For doing this experiment, what do you need? You need the leaves other than green color, dilute iodine solution. So preparation of food means preparation of starch in the plant. So for this starch test, what is the chemical that you use? You use dilute iodine solution, isn't it? So take a few red or yellow colored leaves other than green, red or yellow colored or brown colored leaves, and add and take a test tube, iodine solution and water, red or brown colored leaves. So what are the materials required? Red or brown colored leaves. Here other than green you have to take, and you have to take the dropper, test tubes. Chemical that is used here for the test is dilute iodine solution. Okay. So these are the materials required for doing the test. Then procedure. What is the procedure that you follow to prove this experiment? That is to see that whether the leaves other than green also take part in photosynthesis or not. For this, you are taking a few red or brown colored leaves, make it into paste, add water to it and make it into a paste and mash them. Collect the extract of the leaves, separating the paste. Okay. So when you, after collecting the extract, take 2 drops of the extract in a test tube and add 2 to 3 drops of dilute iodine solution to this prepared extract, that is taken extract in a test tube, and you can see that it turns into dark black, blue or black in color, dark blue or black in color, which proves that these plants has taken part in photosynthesis. That is, the leaves perform photosynthesis and prepared their own food. Is it clear, children? So this is the procedure. Take red colored leaves, red or brown colored leaves, that is the first step. Then make a paste of these leaves by adding water. Make a paste by adding water. Then in the 3rd step, what you do? You extract the pulp, that is from the paste. You extract the pulp, that is the paste extract is taken out. Take an extract from the paste, from the paste of leaves. Okay. And next, take this 2 to 3 drops of extract in a test tube Then what you do afterwards, you add 2 drops of dilute iodine solution to this extract. Fifth point, add 2 to 3 drops of dilute iodine solution. So what do you observe now? And observe. So next side heading, what are you going to write? Observation. So what do you observe in this experiment? You observe that the extract has changed to dark blue or black color. Either it changed the extract, the color, there is a change in a color of the extract. Change in the color of the extract to which color? Dark blue or black? I'm sorry. Yes. Dark blue or black. This proves that the plants have taken part in photosynthesis. Okay. So after observation, the solution of the leaf extracts turn blue or black, and inference, that is, result is, what is the result? From the aim itself you can know the result. What is the aim of the experiment? The aim of the experiment is to prove whether the leaves other than green color also perform the photosynthesis or not. Here what happened, the result is the leaves other than the green color also perform photosynthesis. Okay, so this proves that shows the presence of starch in the leaves. This shows the presence of starch in the leaves. Starch in the leaves which are other than green color. Okay, colored leaves also perform photosynthesis. Leaves with red or brown color. So what is the inference from this result? What do you get the inference? You get the inference that the leaves other than the green color also take part in photosynthesis. The leaves other than green color also perform photosynthesis. So why did you so what happened to the chlorophyll, whether the chlorophyll is present in these leaves or not? Yes, the green colored pigment chlorophyll is being masked by the yellow or brown colored leaves. That's why the pigment we cannot find in these leaves, green pigment. Well, so chlorophyll is also present in these leaves, but it is being masked by the yellow or brown colored. Okay, hope you have understood this, children. So next we'll proceed to the 7th question. So what is the next question? You can read the previous 6th answer once again in seeing the textbook and note down in your notes clearly. Next 7th question is about draw a neat diagram of human digestive system. So this is a very, very important topic that you have to learn and about it, and also the diagram also very important for your examination point of view too. Okay, so now I'll show you how to draw the diagram of the human digestive system. Okay, children, follow it carefully. So see, children, here this is human digestive system. Human digestive system. So this is the mouth, you know very well. So you can draw this clearly, showing the mouth part. So this is the mouth. Food is taken in through the mouth. Inside the mouth you have different 4 types of teeth, isn't it? Through which the food is chewed thoroughly. And inside it you find the buccal cavity. So this is the buccal cavity. Oral cavity inside the mouth with the tongue, teeth and the salivary glands present in it. So here the carbohydrate digestion takes place inside the buccal cavity. Okay, first type, the digestion that starts in the buccal cavity. From there it moves through the pipe. So chamber, this is called tube-like structure. It is called as, so here this one. So you can find pharynx and also larynx, pharynx and larynx. So here after the buccal cavity you find the chamber, tube-like structure. This is a connection between the respiratory tract and also the digestive tract. This is called as pharynx. Below the pharynx, the tube-like structure which connects the pharynx and the stomach. This is the bulged part. This is called as the stomach. This is stomach, children. And the part, the tube-like structure which connects the stomach and the pharynx is called esophagus, or it is also called as a food pipe. Esophagus. Okay, the food that is digested, that is the first carbohydrate digestion that takes place in the buccal cavity, moves through the esophagus and reaches the stomach. This is the stomach. Here you find HCl, hydrochloric acid, where the microorganisms or the bacteria present in the food gets killed due to the action of the acids. Okay, and here this is a gland called liver. This is a liver connecting the duodenum here, the bend. This is the bend part, tube-like structure that connects the small intestine. This is called as duodenum. First part of the small intestine, duodenum. Okay, so above this it contains the liver and the other gland is pancreas. This is pancreas. Liver secretes bile juice and pancreas secretes pancreatic juice. Pancreas secretes pancreatic juice. Okay, and the food that moves from the stomach, that after digestion inside the stomach, the food moves through the duodenum by the action of the bile juice, and the pancreatic juice moves through the small intestine. Okay children, see over here, this is the small intestine. So in the stomach, the protein digestion takes place and the bacteria that is present in the food gets killed through the action of HCl in the stomach. Okay, later it enters through the from the duodenum, it enters the small intestine. The small intestine contains the several thousands of finger-like villi which absorbs after the digestion that takes place through the intestinal juices that act over the food. Okay, so the intestinal juices that is present in the small intestine, they act over the food and digest the food material. Sorry. So here the 1000 finger-like villi are present which absorbs the digested food and send the nutrients into the blood. And the undigested food reaches the large intestine. This is the large intestine. This, from here it reaches the rectum and then anus. Waste material is sent out through the anus. This is the storage of the undigested food that takes place in the rectum, and removal of the waste takes place through the anus. Hope you have understood this, children. So this is the human digestive system. Mouth, intake of food that takes place, then after that digestion takes place. So digestion first starts in the buccal cavity, where the salivary glands act over them and they produce salivary juice, they produces the saliva which act over the the food, and the carbohydrate digestion starts in the buccal cavity. From there the food reaches the pharynx and esophagus and then reaches the stomach, where the protein digestion takes place. From there the liver and the pancreas that secretes the bile juice and the pancreatic juice acts over the food, and again digestion takes place in the small intestine by the action of the intestinal juices. So after complete digestion takes place in the small intestine and observes the villi that are 1000 finger-like projections that are present in the small intestine. They absorb the nutrients that are present in it and supply to the various parts of the body, and the undigested waste material moves through the large intestine and passes through the rectum and anus. It stores in the rectum and finally ejected out through the anus. This is the human digestive system. Hope you have understood this answer and the picture also, children. You can draw neatly in your notebooks. Okay, try to draw neatly in your notebooks the picture of the human digestive system. So this is how you have to draw. Okay. That's all. Now, the next question is about the nutrition in amoeba. Show the flow chart of nutrition in amoeba. So, first of all, you should know what is amoeba. Amoeba is a unicellular organism. Amoeba is a unicellular organism. All the cell activities or the life processes are performed by the single cell. What are the life processes? Ingestion, digestion, respiration, reproduction, excretion. All these are the life processes to continue the life of that particular organisms. So, in amoeba, how does it takes its food? You know that it lives in pond water. Where does it live? It lives in pond water, and it is a unicellular organism. And it is irregular in shape. It is irregular in shape, and it has the organs called pseudopodia. They are called as false feet. Organs called pseudopodia, which means false feet. Pseudo means false, podia means feet. They project these finger-like, that is projections of their body into around the food particle when it comes near it. So what is the food of amoeba? Food of amoeba are bacteria, fungi, organic matter, dead end organic matter. Food of amoeba is bacteria, fungi that is present in the water, dead plants and animals, dead organic matter, that is dead plants and animals, small dead plants and animals. It depends upon them. Okay, and here when the food particle comes nearer the amoeba, so I told you it is irregular in shape. This is the cell membrane, outer membrane, that is the body contains the cell membrane, and this is the nucleus in the middle and contains several vacuoles inside the cytoplasm. This is cytoplasm. This cytoplasm contains is present inside the cell of the organism. Okay, so these are the cytoplasmic granules. These are the food vacuoles. Okay, So these are the food vacuole. This is nucleus in the center. Nucleus, food vacuole, cytoplasm. Liquid fluid that is present inside the cell of the organism. So this is called as cytoplasm. So these are the organelles of the amoeba, cell organelles. So now these are false feet, that is pseudopodia. These help for movement and also take the food, that is ingestion, help for locomotion and ingestion. What is locomotion and what is ingestion? Locomotion means the movement of an organism from one place to other place. It is called as locomotion. Movement of an organism from one place to other place. It is called as locomotion. Ingestion means intake of the food. So now we'll see how does the amoeba takes in the food. Okay, first note down this. Now we'll see about the nutrition in amoeba. So you know that flowchart contains ingestion, digestion, absorption, assimilation and egestion. Ingestion is intake of food, isn't it? So in amoeba, so this is irregular in shape. It projects its finger-like projections near the food particle. Okay, finger-like projections near the food particle and tries to take the food particle. So this is a cytoplasm and the nucleus. Okay, so this is pseudopodia. Through the pseudopodia, it takes in the food, that is ingestion. Then after ingestion, digestion takes place. For the process of digestion, what happens? It develops a vacuole around the food particle. It ingests into the food particle, gets into the body, develops a food vacuole. Okay, it develops a food vacuole inside the body. This is digestion. Okay children, so after digestion, absorption takes place. What is it? Absorption. So what happens during the absorption of the food particle? The food particle becomes the part of the blood. It becomes reaches the absorbed into the blood of the organism. Okay, this is absorption. Then assimilation takes place. So during this process of assimilation, the nutrients become the part of the body. That is, the nutrients that are absorbed from the food becomes the part of the body. This is called as assimilation. After absorption, assimilation takes place where the nutrients become the part of the body. Okay, and from here the waste materials are ejected out from the body. They are ejected from the body. The process is called egestion. So this is how the nutrition in amoeba takes place, children. So first one, ingestion, next digestion, absorption, assimilation, egestion. So these from the pseudopodia itself, again the waste material, it is excreted out. Okay, it projects out from there. So this is how the nutrition takes place in the amoeba, and which is we can show in the form of the flow chart also. You can see the page number 44 and draw the picture carefully. Okay, next, how will you appreciate the role of saprophytes in cleaning the earth's surface? You know very well, saprophytes are the they are the organisms, heterotrophic organisms which depend on other organisms for their food. They depend on dead and decayed organic matter for their food and decompose the material and clean up the earth's surface, and hence we call them as the natural scavengers. And so these are the organisms which depend on dead bodies and decompose them and mix them in the soil and recycle them. So these decomposers are also called as recyclers, as they decompose and return the organic matter and return it to the soil again, where it is used up by the plants again. So they are called as recyclers too. Next, what precautions will you take to keep your digestive system healthy? The next and the last question. So this is very important question. As you know very well, very many of the health issues are related to the digestive system itself. It is due to excessive intake of food or due to the shortage of food also. So both leads to digestive problems. So what are the different problems that are related to the digestive tract? One, you know very well, that is diarrhea or dysentery, acidity. These are the gastritis, you say, isn't it? So these are the very common problems that are suffered by so many individuals due to the digestive problems. So they may be treated as digestive problems. Our digestive system is also a grinding machine like any other machine also. It also has some of the problems and malfunctioning of this of the digestive system, of any part of the digestive system, leads to health issues. So what are the different issues that are related to the digestion? You know, that is diarrhea, dysentery, acidity, and what more? So what are these? Why are they caused? They are caused due to stress, strain, irregular meals, or irregular sleep also. Okay, so you have to take the meals in time and sleep at proper time to maintain your digestive system in a proper condition. Okay, healthy eating habits and hygiene play important role in our maintenance of the health. Healthy eating habits. What are the healthy eating habits? You should not say no to any of the or the food material that is being prepared. Depending upon the condition of your body, you have to take the food in time. Okay, and also avoid unhealthy or irregular meals. So this is a main thing that you have to follow to have your digestive system in a proper condition without any digestive issues. So practice doing regular exercises too. If you do the Vajrasan, it helps to increase the blood circulation level in your body and helps to for the digestion purpose also easily. So constipation will be controlled if you take plenty of green leafy vegetables and the fruits and vegetables along and the cereals along with the grain, that is bran also. So the consuming buttermilk, water, herbal products like jeera, tulsi leaves, pudina leaves and all. So these products which are present in the kitchen, which are used to control or to minimize the digestive problems. So avoid bad habits like cigarette smoking, intake of alcohol, and also the gutka, pan, bidi. These are all to be avoided to not to suffer from the digestive diseases like liver cancer, intestinal cancer, so many, the pancreatic cancer. So these are all the different types of cancer varieties that are related to the digestive tract, the throat cancer. So these you have to avoid the bad habits and have a healthy eating habits also to avoid the digestive problems. So eating tobacco also leads to the throat cancer, as you know very well. Healthy body leads to healthy mind. Everyone knows it, isn't it? So when all our body functions or the systems function properly, all the systems like respiratory system, digestive system, nervous system, all the body functions properly, organs function properly, then we'll be healthy. So if we want to be in a good health, we have to have proper eating habits and proper healthy habits. So one should maintain proper healthy habits to avoid the digestive problems, or avoid bad habits to avoid the digestive problems. So what are the bad habits? You know it. So avoid it and stay safe and be healthy. Okay. So a healthy mind is the body. If it is healthy, then you get the healthy mind. Healthy body leads to healthy mind. Healthy body leads to healthy mind. So your body will be healthy if you maintain healthy habits. These healthy habits are getting up early in the morning, taking food in time, do all your activities in time, and taking the proper food that is required to your body and maintain it regularly. This has your healthy body, taking plenty of water, green leafy vegetables, all the balanced diet that is required for your body should be maintained properly to be healthy, and avoid bad habits like taking alcohol or cigarettes, smoking, gutka, tobacco, eating, all these. If you avoid and maintain healthy habits, then your body will be healthy. Okay, it leads to a healthy mind. Okay, children. So with this I have completed the question answers of this lesson, and in the next class I will continue the next lesson. Okay, children. Stay home, stay safe. Thank you. And today's class, complete the question answers of this lesson, homework. Complete the remaining question answers. From your textbook, that is 6 to 10, okay? Textbook questions, children. Page number 51. Page number 51, questions 6 to 10. Already have completed first 5 questions I have explained you, and today's class I have explained 6 to 10 questions. Write down neatly in your notes. Okay? Bye, children.